What if I told you that every single time you've yelled at your cat for scratching your furniture, you've actually been punishing them for loving you? And that sounds dramatic, but stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to understand something about your cat that most owners go their entire lives never realizing, and it's going to completely transform the way you see those claw marks on your couch. So let's start with the truth that nobody wants to hear you've been doing this wrong. Not because you're a bad cat owner, but because nobody ever explained to you what's actually happening when your cat walks up to your brand new sofa, stretches out those paws, and drags their claws right down the fabric. And I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking they're sharpening their claws, or they're being destructive, or maybe they're just trying to annoy you. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. Your cat isn't scratching your furniture to destroy it. Scratching your furniture because of one incredibly powerful reason, and that reason is going to change everything you thought you knew about feline behavior. But before I reveal it, I need you to understand something about cat psychology that connects to something most owners completely miss. See, cats are not small dogs. They don't think like dogs, they don't communicate like dogs, and they definitely don't show love like dogs. And this is where so many people get it wrong. Because we've been trained by society to understand dog behavior, we expect our cats to be grateful and obvious and affectionate in ways we can easily recognize. But cats operate on an entirely different level. And when you understand this level, you start to see that what looks like destruction is actually communication. What looks like defiance is actually devotion, and what looks like your cat ruining your furniture is actually your cat telling you something incredibly important. So here's the one reason your cat scratches furniture, and I want you to really let this sink in. They're marking their territory with you, and I know that might sound simple, but stay with me, because this goes so much deeper than you think. When a cat scratches a surface, they're not just leaving visible marks, they're depositing pheromones from glands located in their paw pads. These pheromones are completely invisible to us. But to your cat, they're like a signature, a message, a declaration. And here's where it gets really interesting. Cats don't mark just anywhere. They mark places that matter to them. They mark the paths they walk. They mark the entrances to their safe spaces. And most importantly, they mark the areas where their favorite people spend time. So when your cat scratches your couch, they're not being bad. They're saying, this is where my human sits, and I want my scent here too. They're blending their scent with yours. They're creating what behaviorists calls a group scent profile, which is basically your cat's way of saying, we belong together. This is our territory. This is our home. And if that's starting to shift how you see things, you might want to hit that subscribe button, because we're about to go even deeper into the hidden world of cat behavior. Now, here's where things get really emotional, and I need you to pay attention to this part, because it connects to something that could actually damage your relationship with your cat. If you don't understand it when you yell at your cat for scratching, you're not teaching them that scratching is bad. You're teaching them that expressing their bond with you leads to fear and punishment. See, cats don't understand because in effect the way we do. They don't think, oh, I scratched the couch and then my human yelled, so scratching must be wrong. Instead, they think I was feeling safe and comfortable and connected, and then suddenly my human became loud and scary and threatening, and this creates something called negative association. And negative association is devastating to the bond between you and your cat, because now they start to connect feeling close to you with feeling afraid. And over time, this doesn't stop the scratching. It just makes your cat more anxious, more stressed, and more likely to scratch in hidden places where you won't catch them. And this is the tragic irony. The more you punish the scratching, the more you increase the underlying stress that causes excessive scratching in the first place. And I've seen this happen so many times. Owners who love their cats, who want the best for their cats, accidentally creating a cycle of fear and anxiety simply because they didn't understand the one reason behind the behavior. So now let's talk about what you should actually do instead of yelling. And this is where the science gets really practical and really empowering. Because once you understand why cats scratch, you can work with their instincts instead of against them. First, you need to provide appropriate scratching surfaces. And I mean really appropriate, not some tiny cardboard scratcher shoved in a corner, but tall, sturdy scratching posts placed in the areas where your cat already wants to scratch. And here's a detail that most people miss: location matters more than the scratcher itself. If your cat scratches your couch, put the scratching post right next to the couch. Because remember, they're scratching there because that's where you spend time. They want to mark that territory. So give them an acceptable way to do it. And the material matters too. Some cats prefer sisal rope, some prefer carpet, some prefer cardboard. You need to observe your cat and figure out what texture they gravitate toward. Because if you give them a scratcher that doesn't feel right, they're going to ignore it and go right back to your furniture. Second skit. You need to make the furniture less appealing temporarily, and you can do this without punishment. You can use double-sided tape on the areas they scratch, because cats hate the sticky feeling on their paws. You can use citrus-scented sprays, because most cats dislike citrus, or you can simply cover the area with a blanket or aluminum foil until they learn to prefer the scratching post. And here's the key. This isn't about making your cat uncomfortable. It's about gently redirecting their natural behavior toward an appropriate outlet. And third, and this is the part that most people skip entirely, you need to reward the behavior you want. When your cat uses the scratching post, praise them, give them treats, make it a positive experience. Because cats respond incredibly well to positive reinforcement. They just don't respond well to punishment. And the difference between these two approaches is the difference between a confident, happy cat and an anxious, stressed cat who hides from you and scratches your furniture. When you're not looking now, I want to take a moment to address something that I think is really important, because I know some of you watching this are feeling guilty right now. You're thinking about all the times you've yelled at your cat, and you're wondering if you've damaged your relationship. And I want you to take a breath, because cats are remarkably forgiving, and the bond between you and your cat is not destroyed by past mistakes. What matters is what you do from this moment forward. And the fact that you're still watching this video tells me that you care deeply about your cat, and that care is the foundation of everything. Because here's what I've learned after years of studying feline behavior. The cats who thrive are not the cats with perfect owners. The cats who thrive are the cats whose owners are willing to learn and change and see things from the cat's perspective. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. So let me share one more insight that's going to tie everything together. And this is something that honestly might make you a little emotional, because it reveals just how much your cat actually cares about you. Studies have shown that cats form secure attachments to their owners, similar to the bonds that children form with their parents. Your cat doesn't just tolerate you, they genuinely love you in their own quiet, mysterious feline way. And scratching is one of the ways they express that love. It's how they say, you are my person, and this is my home, and I feel safe enough here to leave my mark. And when you understand this, when you really let it sink in, those scratches on your furniture start to look different. They become evidence, not of destruction, but of devotion. They become proof that your cat has chosen you, that they see your home as their home, that they feel connected to you in a way that goes beyond food and shelter and basic survival. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful things about sharing your life with a cat, this secret language they're constantly speaking, if only we learn how to listen. So the next time your cat stretches out and extends those claws and starts scratching, I want you to remember this video. I want you to remember that they're not being bad. They're being a cat. They're following millions of years of instinct. They're communicating in the only way they know how, and most importantly, they're telling you in their own way that you matter to them. Don't yell, don't punish. Just provide them with the right outlets, reward the behavior you want, and appreciate the message they're trying to send, because that message is one of belonging, of territory, of family, and of love. And if this video has changed the way you see your cat, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because there's so much more to discover about the hidden world of cat behavior, and I want to be the one to share it with you. Now, go find your cat, give some love, and maybe look at those furniture scratches with new eyes, because your cat has been trying to tell you something all along, and now finally you understand.